So hello Aya. Today we are gonna discuss conditionals. Okay, conditional statements. So before that, last time we were discussing is the integers, right? So if you have two numbers, right? Let's say 4 and 5, 6. So what you can do with them? So you can add them, you can multiply them, and you can divide them, and bunch of other things you can do. So important thing is that, like, if you have a, like, many times I've told you, like, if you have a variable like x, y, z, right, and and now, yeah, whatever SA, right. So what you can do with SA depends upon what it is pointing to or what it's holding. Like, if it's a number, you can add them, right? But if it's a string, you can not add them. But but if this string, you can add them, but what adding will do is going to be different, right? It's like if you have two string SA, SB, and if you add them together, SA plus SB, like, yeah, it does something, but it's not gonna be like the normal adding, right, which you expect in with numbers. So there are so when you add two numbers in general number, what you get another number, right? So if I add let's say A is equal to 5 and B is equal to 10. So like if I print A plus B, it's gonna work because A and B both are numbers, right? So if you print and you run it, it gets 15. And 15 is also a number. Now there are some operation which will give you booleans. Like, which are the operations? So I can compare if A is greater than B. So if I print that,
A greater than B.
Yeah, if I print that, what will happen?
The answer is gonna be true.
Yeah, it's false. It's false, right? So similarly, you can check if A is less than B. Okay.
Keyboard input.
So similarly, you can check if A is less than B. So what do you expect?
That's true.
This time it is gonna be true. So let's say you have another variable called D is equal to 5. Now, if I again check A less than D, so what will happen? Is A less than D?
No.
No, they are equal. So it should be false. Is now, so yeah, you can check less than or greater than, right? But there is also ways to check if some both are equal or not, and this is the operator we use for checking they are equal or not. So if we do that, this will tell you true. Similarly, you can check if they are not equal. So if you do not equal to, this is for not equal to, right? So this will become false, right? Simple. So you can do this with, so can you do this A greater than B less than B with strings? So if you have no, you can. So the thing is that how do you know, like, if a string is greater than the other string? So you'll say it is not obvious, right? It is not obvious. So what people did is they decided that, well, what we'll do is we will check if the first letter, like A, B, who is which bigger in this? A is smaller and B is bigger. So what they said is that we want to check all the letters one by one. So if the first letter is smaller, that means that's gonna be smaller. So if both are similar, yeah. So let me show you, right? That it actually works for string also, right? Let's say E is one string. We'll call it A B, and the other one is called D is equal to. Let's call it A B C, okay, or A B B, okay. So now you want to check.
D is greater.
Let's say you want to check if E and D are who is greater, right? So you do print A less than B. So if you run it, what happens?
True.
It's true. It says A is less than B. So how it does it? So the way it does it is first compare A and A, which is smaller. Both are same. So we are gonna check the next one, which is smaller. A is smaller. So that's it. So we found A is smaller than AB, and we don't have to check the next one. So that's why E. Oh, sorry, not A less than B. I think this one is confusing. So don't do that. Don't understand. Like we can ignore that. But yeah, E less than
B.
So we forgot to do E less than D. Sorry, E less than D. So let's run it and see what happens. This is true, right? We by mistake we did this one. So E is less than D. It kind of work. But if I make it B, now what will happen? It will become false because B is greater than A. So that's what they did, right? They first you check the first one, and if first one is same, then you have to check the next one. If they are also same, then you check the next one. Yeah. So you keep doing that, and this way you decide which one is gonna be bigger or which is gonna be smaller.
The same, if both are the same,
yeah.
then you have to go all
yeah.
the way to
like,
the last
like the
one.
same in the class, right? You have like names like Arya or your friend name, maybe what is your friend name? Alicia and some other people. So what they will do is that all the people with A, right? If the first name is A, then the second name they look at. Oh, you have two A's. The two A's are gonna be first. And then if somebody's name is Alicia, then AL is there, right?
Yeah.
So AL comes after AA. So the same way they do in the class also, right? They sort.
My name is probably the smallest because.
Yeah. So you understand, right? Like there are ways you can compare strings also. Okay. And numbers is pretty simple, you know already, but you can
My
do.
My name is of course the smallest because mine starts with A.
Similarly, you for these two, you can also do if they are equal. So what does it mean by equal?
Equal means that like if you do A and B, they have to be
so
same.
If all the letters
are
same in the below one and in the same order, then they are equal. Okay. And similarly, we can do not equal. Okay. And if you do not equal, it's gonna return true and whatever false, right? It's gonna give some. So what else is? What are the different types? So I think that's now we'll just discuss these two, like strings and numbers, right? We'll discuss the type later. So now with that, why is this true and false is important? Well, because when we write program, we want to decide if we want to do something based upon some condition, right? So if something is true, some condition is true or some condition is false, we decide to run our code. So let's give you example. Let's say the simplest example is, let's say age. We are gonna ask you your age. Input, and what's your age? What's your age? Okay. And then we want to print. So if your age is less than 18, then you are a
child.
Yeah, then you are not adult. Not necessarily a child. We just call it you are not an adult.
Not an adult?
Yeah. You are not an adult.
Not an adult.
You are not an adult. Okay, you are not an adult. And what else? And if you
below 3
now
is
if
below 3.
Yeah, else if you want to print something else, like if you are greater than 18, what you can do? So now there is another way of doing it. You can say if age is greater than equal to 18, print.
Greater than equal to means that like if it's 18 is equal to
you are
greater.
You are an adult. Okay. So let's try to run it. We want to make it easy. We want to convert whatever we are getting to a integer. So now if we run it, we lost the number. Let's say you tell you are 14-year-old. So what happens? You are not an adult. You run it again. Let's say you write 18. So you are an adult. So this time it came here, right? Now, yeah. Now this is fine, but there is another thing you can do.
Senior.
Yeah, means you can like, okay, maybe let's say you want to make it tricky. You want to decide like I want to have multiple range. Okay, so you can say let's say if you are 0 to 2, maybe 1, right? Maybe you are a baby. Okay.
Baby.
Yeah. Now if you are 2
No, Daddy. 3 to.
2 to 4-year-old or 5-year-old, you are a toddler. I don't know. 2 to 3?
Yeah.
Or yeah, let's call it toddler. I don't know. Let's say toddler. Okay. And if you
3
are
to 5. 3 to 7. No, teenager.
that, maybe let's say 4 to
3 to 12.
4 to 12, you are a kid. Okay, maybe. And then
What if you're 4 years old, Daddy?
13 to 18, 17, you are a teenager. I don't know.
Teen?
Yeah. And then after that, maybe you are 18
Adult.
to, let's say, 60, you are an adult. Okay, maybe.
And then 60 or above.
I think it's just doing too much. So let's just do 18 is more than enough. Okay, I don't care how old you are, but you're an adult. Now, if you want to write the program, I think these are like choose too much. Maybe let's just keep it 3. I don't want to write so much code. Okay, so you are kid. You are kid. Let's say 0 to 12. Okay. So now to do this, you can do is you can copy this and you can say I want to see if it's less than 12. Okay, and then it is less than
Then.
18, and this is less than
Huh? Oh, you
12 and
you
less.
are a teen. You're a teen.
You are a kid, right?
Yeah. You are a kid.
A kid. And then if it's 18,
Teen.
yeah, adult. And if
No,
it's
teen is less than 18.
yeah less than 18, you are adult. If it's greater than 18, you are
Oh.
adult. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So if you run this, what happens if you give 12? You are not an
Oh.
adult. Okay. If you have to be 12. Okay. So if you give let's say
And make sure to add the colon after if, because then and then
you are an adult, right?
if you do it like on the same line, then indentation will not be correct.
Hmm?
Like make sure to add the colon because the indentation will not be correct.
Where do you want to add the colon?
Like
The colon?
yeah,
This
the
one?
if, yeah.
Well, that's totally fine. Okay. So this is one way we can do it, right? I can test it a little bit. Okay, so you give 11, it should get a. Oh, so we give 11, and what happened? It is printing
You are
not a kid. You are a kid and you are not an adult. No, why this is happening? Why this is happening? Do you see? So what it is doing is that if you are less than 12, let's say you give 11, so this condition will be true.
Yeah.
And 18 is also less than 11 is also less than 18, so this is also
True.
true. So the point is that now this is kind of not enough. We need to have more conditions here.
Really?
So how can you do that? So the problem is that there are many ways we can do this. So one of the things like what we can do is we can say if this condition is met, then that's it. We don't want to execute any of them. Right? So how can we do that?
So
then we can do something called else if.
Else
So the short form for this is else if.
if.
Right? So if it's less than 12 and then you execute this, this one.
Else if.
But if this is not, then check this condition. And then if this condition is true, execute this. But if this is also not true, then I want to run the
What?
else condition, right? So maybe then I don't want to check this condition, I just want to say else.
Yeah, because it's much easier.
Okay. So you find it much easier. Let this one. So now you give 11. You are a kid. You gave, let's say, 13. You are not an adult. And now you give 18. You are an adult. So this seems to be working fine. Okay. So this was one way of doing it, but what else you can do? So the other way could have been is that we could have just said that, well, if you are between 12, bit less than 12 and other way could be that, okay, I just write somehow I can check that you are between 12 to 18, then it will be fine, right? So how can we check if you are between 12 to 18? So So the way to do it, you can say my age should be greater than or 12. My age should be greater than 12, and my age should be less than 18. Okay, so this is where you can do it. Similarly, here what you will say, well, I want if my age is greater than 18
and less than
in this case, like I want to say greater than or equal to. Okay, so this is gonna be also, we can make it work. So let's run this again. So you say 11, you are a kid. You say 16, you are not an adult, and you run 18, you are an adult. So this is also working fine. Now, so sometimes you want to use the else if and else one. Sometimes you want to do it this way. Yeah.
And means like
okay.
if you want
So
to do this and this.
Yeah. So
and or means you have to do like.
So let's discuss that. So we have been discussing the operators like less than, greater than, equal to, or not equal to. But there are something called logical operation also. So logical operations are basically we have
and or.
Well, we have 3 of them. So and or not. Okay. So let me discuss that. What is and? So if you have one expression which is, let's say you write 5 greater than 3. So this is one expression.
Yeah.
So 5 greater than 3, and you can write and 3 less than 5. So 5 is greater than 3 and 3 is less than 5. So both are them are true. So both the conditions are true. So overall expression will be true. Okay. So this is how you can combine 2 expression and get one big expression. Okay. So oh no, we have to kind of stop it. We have to remove this for now. We're gonna.
Or you could just comment it.
We can actually write it in the shell. Okay, you can write it in the shell. So yeah, it's set to. So basically the idea is that now we'll discuss and or and not. So the way and or not work is that it is also a binary operation, right? So it will be left side and the right side. So if you have true, one expression true and the other expression true, you will get true. So if you add 2 truths, you will get true. But if you add true and false, what you will get? Yes, you get false. So for something to be true, both the things has to be true. So if something has to be true, both the things has to be true. But sometimes you are okay with if one of the things is true, you want the things to be true, right? So that's called or situation. That's called the or situation. So let's say you said true
Oh, that's nice.
or false. So if you say true or false, if any of them is true, it's gonna be true.
Like you're picking one and computer always picks true.
No, sometimes what will happen, you'll say, okay, if this is happened, if this happened or this happened, I'm fine, you can execute this condition. Either of them is true, then you can execute this condition, right? So sometimes that is the case. Okay. And what is not? So the not is gonna reverse. Not is not a binary. Like it will not have 2 things you're gonna do with. It will have one thing. So let's say you have true, and like let's say you have some variable like x is equal to true, right? And something was there, right? I do not know. But if you want to reverse it, right? You want to reverse it. So use not. So not of x is false. So whatever was there, it's gonna reverse it. So if x was false,
is gonna be true.
Then not of x will be true. Okay. So yeah, you can use it. So let's say if you want, for example, let's say you have something more complicated. Let's say you have 5 is equal to 5, right? Let's say you write like this: 5 is equal to 5, and then in front of it, it's true, right? And you have to reverse it, right? So you can say not of 5 is equal to 5. That will come false. So you can reverse the true. So first this got executed and then not got executed. Right. Another thing to do, understand and remember is that if I am given, remember whenever we do some BODMAS question, right? So we write a plus be, sorry, let's say we write numbers, we just not gonna write 5 plus 5 into 3. So what will happen? First you're gonna multiply 5 into 3, that will be 15, and then you're gonna add 5, which is gonna be 20, right? Right, 20. But the question is that, let's say I have an expression like this, 5 is equal to 5 and 6 not equal to 7. So what will execute first? What is the order of the thing now?
Now 5 equal to 5.
So yeah, so the thing is that we don't execute AND first. First is gonna execute the left expression, and then it's gonna execute the right expression, and then it's gonna do the AND one. And if you are not sure, what you can do is you can put the parentheses, right? You remember, if you put the parentheses, it's gonna make sure that it's gonna execute these things first, right? Because the highest priority is of the parentheses or the brackets, right? So you can execute it this way. So it's gonna work. So now I think, so the last thing is that we understand we have if in, you know, this way, you know, and then we can have same thing written like this, right? But there's another thing we can do with something called nested loop ifs. So what's a nested if?
I don't know.
So the nested if will look like this. So suppose you say this is gonna be less than 18, right? And this is gonna be greater than 18, but you are a kid. But you can do is you can say if age is less than 12, you are a kid. If age was greater than equal to 12, then you are not an adult. Okay.
Ooh.
So you can write it like this way, the same thing.
That's a nest there, because
So
if age,
yeah,
then
so
inside
what
the
we'll do
number
is we will first check this condition. If you are in this condition, then you go inside. Now inside you'll check the first condition. If it's true, then you're gonna print you are a kid. If not, if you are not, then you check if you are in this condition. So if you are in this condition, you print this thing. And if you did not execute this loop entirely, you're gonna go check here, and if you see if this condition is true, if this condition is true, you're gonna print this. So you can use also nested if for doing the same thing. So what should you use? It depends, right? Sometimes you might feel you want to use this way, sometimes you want to use the AND way or OR way, and sometimes you want to do the else way. Okay?
It's best if you practice with
With
all
practice,
of them.
you will understand which one you like more, or which one you find it easier to understand. Okay.
I
So
find
now-
it easier to understand with and or not.
Oh, you find easier to understand with AND or not?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see. So let's say now you do. So you said 11, you are a kid, right? That's correct. If you do 17, you are not an adult. So that's also correct. If you do 19, you are an adult. So this seems to work fine also, right? That's the same thing, right? So yeah, so that concludes our kind of conditional, you know, summary. So one thing, so to learn here, what we do is we have something called as if statement, and we pass to it an expression which should evaluate to true or false. So the expression here is age less than 18, right? So that's how the if statement work, and then we put a colon, and then we write the statement, right, for that, right? Similarly, if the next so that's the structure. So the structure of this thing is, so you write if, let me explain the structures one more. So you write if, you write a boolean expression, okay? You write a boolean expression, okay? So let's make it like this, and then what you write is a colon, and then you do a tab, and you write the statements. You write your statements, okay? So
What you're gonna get.
So yeah, I'm just gonna put the comment again, so that just to tell. So there's gonna be statement, and then you write another statement maybe. Okay.
You can write multiple statements.
Yeah, and then when you're done, you want to exit the if, So you're gonna write a statement like this outside the indentation. Okay, this is gonna be if the condition is true, it's gonna execute statement 1, and then it's gonna execute the statement 2, and then it's gonna go outside the loop and execute the statement number 3. If the boolean expression is false,
then
it's just gonna execute the statement number
3.
Okay.
You don't have to do statement
Yeah.
number.
So that's what the first if statement. The second thing we learned is that
And, or, and
yeah.
not.
So we can also do something like, now we can do also like the two boolean expressions. This was the expression 1, and this is the expression 2, and this will become expression statement 3 and 4 and 5.
5.
So now in this situation, what happens? First is gonna check the expression number 1. If it's true, it's gonna execute number statement 1 and statement 2. It's gonna check the expression number 2. If it's true, it's gonna execute 3 and 4. If not, then it's just gonna execute statement 5. Second thing we can do is we can also, instead of if statement, we can make it
Elif.
else if.
That's not how you.
Oh yeah, I kind of write it wrong. So for else if you don't write like this, you just say else if. Okay. So what happened in this scenario? So in this scenario, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 6. I'm just gonna comment this. Okay, so yeah, so this is the, so yeah, you come here. In this one, what happened? You execute the first expression. If it says it's true, you're gonna execute the statement number 1 and statement number 2. And what will happen after that? You are done. You're gonna go and execute the statement which is outside the if statement. So maybe the statement number here is 7. So you're gonna directly execute statement 7.
There were 7 statements.
Yeah. So let's say now let's say there is another condition and you do execute another time. This comes out to be false. So what will happen? You're gonna check the else if part. Okay. If this turns out to be true, what will you do? You're gonna execute statement 3 and 4, and then you're gonna be outside this entire if thing, and you're gonna execute the statement number 7.
Okay.
Now suppose let's say third run. You run it again. This comes out to be false. Okay. You want to check this one. This comes out to be false. Oh, so here also I've written if else if. So this also you check. If this comes out to be true, you're gonna execute 5 and 6, and then you're gonna execute, because this is outside statement 7. You wanna say. So the another way is to write if you have else written here. Else. Okay. So similarly now, if this is false, it's gonna execute the statement number 1. Sorry, it's gonna try to execute the boolean expression this one. If this is also false, then what will happen?
It's gonna go to
Oh, sorry, I make a mistake. I forgot to remove this. Okay, so now this is the correct one. So if this and this are false, it directly goes and execute
else.
5 and 6 statement, and then it's gonna go and execute the statement 7. So that's how what we learned till now. The another thing we learned is that inside that your statement can be if statement, because
Or-
if this statement, right? So this statement 1 can be a
If.
statement.
Or statement 2 can also be an if statement.
Yeah, statement 2 can be a statement. And when this is a if statement, that is called a nested if statement. That is called a nested if statement.
Because
And
it has an if statement inside an if statement.
Yeah.
Inside
And that's it. So that completes our discussion about conditional
for
statements.
now.
Yeah. Well, there is something called switch statement which we don't need for now, but this is the main one. Okay.
We're gonna learn later.
Yeah. And that's it.